Hi, in this video today I'm going to talk to you about how to apply knowing and identifying people's personality types to improve your sales and negotiation skills. You know, George Bernard Shaw was fond of saying, it takes all types of people to make up the world. According to FBI negotiations expert Chris Voss, there are three types of negotiator personalities: the assertive, the accommodator, and the analyst. The better you understand each of these negotiator personalities and styles of negotiation, the easier it will be for you to achieve the outcomes you're looking for. The better you understand each negotiator's personality style of negotiation, the easier it will be for you to achieve the outcomes you're looking for. The best negotiators understand what makes other people tick, and they're able to quickly identify their counterpart's personality type. Top negotiators can adapt their negotiating strategy to any conversation based on this insight, making the other side feel understood, feeling comfortable, in control, and consequently, making yourself more likable throughout the process, which is key. If you keep in mind when negotiating what kind of person you're dealing with and what kind of person you're negotiating with, and what you can do to improve the negotiation style with that individual, the likelihood increases of making a sale, closing a deal with each of these three personality types. Personality type 1, the assertive. The assertive is a direct, honest, logical type of person. They're directly to the point. They don't beat around the bush, which can make them seem aggressive and even harsh to a certain extent. But this type of negotiator is more interested in arriving at a solution rather than the best solution. The assertive loves winning more than anything else, and if you give them an inch, they'll take a mile. An example when assertive type gives a hard no on a particular issue or term, you need to appeal to their logical side of the brain by simply paraphrasing or summarizing their content. See our other videos of communications and mind tricks, how to tell if someone is bluffing about paraphrasing. An example of the use of paraphrasing is simply to repeat back what the person has said, but in your own words. Otherwise, with an assertive, just walk away. If there's a misalignment, the assertive will only get angrier. So in this case, I told you no several times, and you're still here. Obviously, this is not an emotional state you want to be in the habit of creating. No one wants to be with a pushy salesperson that can't take a hint. An assertive categorizes you as a pushy salesman. Even they might be put off by your approach. However, it's good to keep in mind that the door is never completely closed with an assertive. Just because they might say no today, doesn't mean that they won't come back to the table and speak to you tomorrow. With an assertive, you usually always have a chance to revisit the conversation. There are a number of tools that you can use to achieve your goals, but parroting will be a tactical empathy skill you'll want to rely on most when dealing with assertives. How to parrot? Parroting is simply repeating back 1 to 3 selected words that the person said to you, and using an inquisitive tone with these words, with a genuine question. Assertives like to talk about what they want and why. They have an inherent need to be heard, even if you can't give them what they want. Keep in mind that you will need to hear the assertive say, "That's right, you understand," before successfully closing a sale or reaching agreement with an assertive. If you haven't heard those 4 words, don't push any further. Move on to the next person and plan to talk to the assertive again in the future. The second type of personality is called the accommodator. Accommodators are a bit more tricky. As you might not be surprised, accommodators are personable people and conversational. They're most interested in developing great relationships with the people they do business with, to the point that they often come across as friendly and too talkative. They are extremely likable and easy to talk to due to their predisposition of wanting to get along. The accommodators are most likely to make the initial concession. Your number one goal with an accommodator is a relationship. They tend to make deals based on how much they like the other side. Since that's the case with an accommodator, it's okay to use common ground because they can help build rapport. Since that's the case with an accommodator, it's okay to use common ground because that can help build rapport, something accommodators generally enjoy. They want to know about your daughter's softball game. But remember, with other personality types, avoid common ground conversations. Since accommodators like to talk about things unrelated to issues at hand, don't schedule a 30-minute conversation with them. They're going to need a lot more time. You might book an hour call or discover that after 50 minutes of having a great interaction, you still haven't gotten down to brass tacks. Adapt for this to happen and plan to shorten your pitch, but be patient. A great way to engage with this personality type is by asking calibrated questions strictly focused on implementation. Something to be aware of and keep in mind is that accommodators might actually overpromise and agree to something they can't actually deliver simply because they want to get along with you. And the last personality type is number 3, the analyst. The analyst spends a lot of time preparing and tends to ask a lot of questions. These folks are pragmatic, skeptical by nature, and they hate surprises. So limit your questions that catch them off guard. While analysts see themselves as smart, realistic, they can come across as cold and standoffish. To an analyst, you're the enemy. In the event that you're talking to an analyst completely out of the blue, don't try to close them in the first conversation. They will not agree with you simply out of spite for the fact that you didn't respect their decision-making process. Labels would be a skill that you would want to rely on most with this type. Labels, we discussed earlier in our video how to build a successful sales team. Analysts are interested in having a dispassionate conversation about the data that they have collected, and labels will help you get just that. In contrast, questioning will only raise red flags for an analyst type. Even if you ask good questions with good intentions, the analyst will hear that this is a potential problem and obstacles to moving forward. Here's how to improve your negotiation sales skills by understanding your counterpart's personality type. So, who's the easiest personality type to deal with? The assertive, the analyst, or the accommodator? There isn't necessarily a correct answer to this question, but here are a few general rules to keep in mind. All 3 types have their quirks, just like you do. That means what it takes to make a deal with one is obviously going to be different than what it takes with another one. The golden rule doesn't actually apply here unless you're negotiating with yourself, and that might not apply depending on the stakes or which side of the negotiating table you're sitting on. Bottom line, figure out what kind of personality type you have and you're dealing with, and apply the correct technique, whether it's parroting, paraphrasing, or labeling. The better you understand what makes the other side tick, the easier it will be for you to develop an effective negotiation strategy for each conversation. Treat others the way they need to be treated. If you're looking for more in-depth training, you may consider spending a day with us at one of our negotiations workshops. Sign up for a live event, and I can guarantee that if you follow these strategies closely, you will close most sales. Check out our upcoming videos about communication skills, coaching, and stealth sales and negotiation techniques. Leave your comments in the box below. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Have a fantastic day.